What's up, Pond family? Welcome to today's live call with Dave Griffiths. I want to welcome you all first. Let me know if you're joining me live on the replay. This can be watched on a replay as well, but I want you guys here live so that we can ask questions and get as much information as we need. For those of you who are joining me, if you don't click on the little link above that says give StreamYard permission to use your name and your picture, I won't be able to see your name and your picture in the comments. So if you want that, just take a minute. Click on that. That way I can see your name and your picture. Thank you. We've got 54 plus people watching today. I'm super excited to have Dave Griffiths coming up. We had a conversation. He made a post and I said, Dave, let's do this live. Let's make it happen so that we can just have a conversation about what's going on. Now, Dave Griffiths, as many of you know, is a consultant. He helps people with MLA and some other stuff, and he'll tell you exactly what he does. I'm going to bring him to the stage. I'm actually excited because he's out and about doing consulting, so he's joining us from his cell phone. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dave Griffiths. Dave, how are you, brother? Dave, can you hear me?
Good. I hope we're on.
I can't hear you well. I know he doesn't have any Wi-Fi over there. Dave's cutting out. So, Dave, do me a favor.
Yeah.
Try calling back in.
Move around a little bit. I'm trying to see if I can get a spot. Okay.
All right, he's going to call back in. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, just give him 30 seconds to call back in. Let me know if you're here. Say hello in the comments. It's a very, very important conversation we're going to have today. Talking in depth with Dave, since I care so much about the pawn industry, we want to make sure that people know what's going on, the importance of what's going on, and what you can do to help the situation out now instead of waiting until it's too late, right? Hey, everybody, we've got Josh Oler. Hey, Josh, what's up? Phil Webb, Lyndon Miller, Lisa Little, how are you? Jesse Lambert Pond, Mark Schmidt, Stacy Case here, Jesse York is here. Evan Schechter, what's up, brother? How are you? Again, if you haven't clicked on the link that says allow StreamYard to use my picture and my comments, I can't see your picture over there. All right. What's up, Joey? How are you? Dave, you there?
I'm here.
It's the connection. All right, we're going to try this out, Dave. Gotcha. Try go back. You have better connection to your car, if you can hear me. Angel Manzano is here.
Okay.
Naperville. Terry. Hey, Terry, how are you? David Downey, how are you? Tom Brunzel, how you doing? Sam, what's up, brother? How's it going? David's going to walk back to his car, see if we can make this happen. Hopefully we can make this happen, ladies and gentlemen. This is the goal. We got 70 pawnbrokers and people in the industry watching. So I'm going to have him. Dave, go ahead and call back in. What's up, Stan? How are you? All right, so let me give you guys a get some tinfoil, Dave. That's funny. All right, so basically, a lot of you saw Dave's post, and what's going on is that. Let me bring this up. I'm going to share this post to you guys. So those of you who didn't see it can see it and know exactly what we're talking about going on. Hey, Brian, what's up? We're waiting for Dave to join us. He's actually out in the field doing some consulting. So I want to make sure that his cell phone is on. What's up, Sam? How are you? Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. All right, so let me share my screen real quick. And so we all know that Senator Dick Durbin is a new Senate Majority Whip, and he is the number two Democrat in the Senate, and he has been trying to push a 3% cap on lending across the nation. And of course, as pawnbrokers, we fought this many, many times. The MPA has fought this. And this is a different scenario, different political game today. So the question is, what can we do as a family together? What can we do as an industry to help fight the battle today as opposed to wait till the last minute and really just be reactive instead of proactive, right? And to be honest with you, I'm not big in the political game. And I sat with Dave and I said, Dave, give it to me, explain it to me. And he basically said, listen, this guy, Dick Durbin, is the person, he's the majority whip. And the majority whip, if you guys don't know what that means, I'm going to share this. Like, we're going to go down to basics until we can get him in. Let me share my screen real quick. Because a lot of us don't understand what's going on behind the scenes, right? We just don't. So I'm opening up Wikipedia. I'm going to share my screen. And basically, the whip is an official of the political party whose task is to ensure party discipline in a legislature. This means ensuring that members of the party vote according to the party platform rather than according to their own individual ideology or the will of their donors or constituents. Whips are the party enforcers. Ladies and gentlemen, with this gentleman, Durbin coming on, he is essentially, I'm going to bring Dave to this. Dave, can you hear me?
Yep, I got you.
Awesome. You're on. Don't move. Don't touch anything. Keep your hand in the air, wherever it is. Do what you got to do. But we got Dave on. So, the whip, Dave, I was trying to explain, the whip is the person who essentially makes people vote a certain way as opposed to just what their constituents want. It's kind of like, let's keep the party in order. Let's all vote together. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
All right. So kind of tell me, you brought this post up. There's a lot of fear in you, in me. Kind of tell me what's going on shortly so that we can get it across to everybody else.
Okay. I hope this works out. The biggest concern I've had, I've been watching for years, is that Dick Durbin continues to put up a 3% rate cap bill. And it's been going on for years. I sent out that information so y'all could see it. We've been doing this since I can't remember, 2005. 2008, I guess. And he keeps getting shot down. It doesn't make it to the floor usually. However, this time things have changed, and he's in a position. He's been the whip for quite a while, a minority whip, but he's a majority whip now. And he has a lot of power in this bill because he keeps trying it over and over and over. We need to be very, very scared about that.
Now, when you say very scared,
it
obviously
basically means he wants.
Go ahead.
He wants all. Okay, he wants all consumer loans. And it's very clear in the bills. It calls out payday lenders and all that. It doesn't say pawnbrokers, but it does say all consumer loans capped at 3%, just like the MLA. And they actually use that language. So that should be concerning to all of us. There's pawnbrokers across the country that won't do a single MLA loan because they think that's damaging to them.
Yeah.
What if all of them were MLA loans?
It's 3% all in. Is that correct? Including setup fees?
Inclusive, yeah.
Yeah, because we had a conversation the other day with some California and New York pawnbrokers saying, hey, we make money at 3-4%, but that's plus storage fees, plus ticket writing fees, plus fees, all that type of stuff. This is all in 3%, right? So we want to make sure, let me stop sharing my screen. We want to make sure that people understand what is it that we need to do as pawnbrokers in order to be able to, Stan says it's prorated daily, right? So it's not like you get that on a month. So it's even less if you think about that. Thank you, Stan. Thanks for bringing that up, brother. So it's even worse than we thought. And the truth is that me and Dave have been speaking for a long time that a lot of times the pawn industry is very reactive instead of proactive, right? We saw this in the pandemic. When we came out and the pandemic hit, there was a lot of reaction happening. There's a lot of, preparing to do stuff. So, Dave, let's talk about like what you believe pawnbrokers should be doing to fight this, to get together, and then I'll give you my opinion, and then we'll kind of bring it into the comments of the stream.
So I think the biggest thing we have to do, if you can picture us as a wall, because we've been talking about walls the last however many years, right? If you picture our line of defenses as a wall right now, it isn't even half a chain link fence. It's all falling apart. We've got 20 states that have state associations. We've got 30 states that do not. Of the 20 states, a couple of them are brand new and struggling to get started. There's many associations in this country that struggle. Nobody I can't think of an association right now that would put their hand up and say, man, we're doing awesome. We have got all the members we can possibly use. We have no problem getting members. And so my suggestion is from the NPA all the way down, that if your association does not have members, it doesn't have the members you have that you wish you had, then you need to consider what it is you've been doing and how you need to change, because what you're doing is not working. Yeah. And in order for us to be able to have any chance at fighting this, we need every single person to be part of lifting. Many hands make light work, as they say. It is not okay for anybody to sit back and let the NPA do this. The NPA is you. It's all of us as pawnbrokers, industry partners, vendors, whatever you want to call us. We all have hitched our wagon to this industry. We all stand to lose if this happens. And that means we all need to get off our collective tuchuses and be part of this. We need to have a voice. We need to be a voice that is in unison. And some places, some associations are going to be better served at sharing that content. But we all have to have the same voice. And when we've got stores and when one part of the country they're charging 30% a month, and you've got stores in other part of the country that are charging 10% a month on average, it's hard to have a unified voice. And this is not a fun conversation that we're going to have, but we got to have it. Yeah. Because you just can't win an argument if everybody's all over the place. And this conversation should have taken place 10 years ago. Yeah. And so
I love that. And I agree with you. And what for me, the most important thing is that if you're watching this and you're a pawnbroker and you're not a member of your state association or the national, it's important to get into the conversation, right? But it's not just about money. Right. I'll give you a quick example. Today in my synagogue, we had 9 people for prayer when we need 10, but the synagogue's paid for. Everything's okay. It's not just about sending in your money. It's about what Bob McCullough said. You've got to know your legislator. It starts with the state. Know your legislator. Get to know them. Have them know you. Have them walk into your business. Know how you serve people, why you serve people. They have no idea that you help people pay their rent, that you help people buy a new tire to get to work, that you help people buy medication for whatever that they just don't know. And I've been telling people in the pawn industry, if you want people to know your business, you've got to bang the drum. It's the same thing with your legislators, right? And to stay quiet and to sit on your asses, you said it nicely, on your tuchus, you cannot just hope that the board members are going to do the work. Here in California, I was on the board. God bless board members. It doesn't just cost them time and money to go where they do, but they actually donate a lot of their own money to the cause, right? While everybody just sits back and complains a lot of the time, instead of saying, hey, how can I jump into the fight with you? Now, you said something correct. Right. I also believe that associations, if you have an issue with the association, don't just talk about it, but go to the head and say, hey, I have this issue. This is why I haven't joined. How do we do this? What do we got to do to make something happen so that membership grows, so that we can join this fight together in building the wall, like you said, instead of the chain link fence, right? I see it this way. If people go to Washington during the NPA's legislative conference, and instead of 40 people, it's 500 people. And those 500 people walk in with 50,000 signatures from their stores saying, don't do this because we need pawn shops, because pawn shops have saved me during the time of need and paid for my cancer medication and paid for my whatever that is. It's a bigger voice. Is that you agree with that, Dave?
Absolutely. And part of it is we need representation from everybody. Not just the ones that you think are the brightest or the best. Your voice matters. Every pawnbroker matters right now, because it's your livelihood. And if you won't fight for your livelihood, why do you expect anybody else to do it for you?
Yeah.
We've got to do this for all of us. And I don't own a pawn shop.
I don't either.
I'm the one talking about this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so,
and
right. So why is that? Because we see it coming and we're scared, you know?
Yeah. And it's not just because I want everybody watching, we're like 80 plus people watching. It's not just the fact that we're vendors and we don't want our money to go away. Like, I truly believe that Dave loves this industry because he, at some point, was a pawnbroker. I'm a third generation pawnbroker myself. My uncle owns a pawn shop. My brother owns a pawn shop. It's not just about us as vendors wanting to make money. It's, this is in our blood. This is what we want. So like Lisa says, put the petty arguments in the past, right? Go to your board. And if you don't have a state association, by the way, it's time to lead. It's time to step up and lead. And it's time to make it so that either we can help you build an association, and there's presidents of different states that can help out with that, right? But you can no longer just sit there and just send it. First of all, if you don't send a check, make sure that when you send a check, you know what's going on so that you can lend a voice to what's happening. It's not just about sending money. A lot of people just say like, oh, just send us money. Just send us money. We'll do the rest. That's not how this works. It's send your money and then be in the conversation to see how you can help fight the fight for your livelihood and for your legacy that you're going to leave. And there's pawnbrokers who laugh at this, right? I had somebody laugh at me yesterday saying, 3% cap. MLA went through. Why couldn't this? Right? I don't know if we lost Dave or not in the conversation, but
no, I'm here.
Yeah. So there's a couple of questions here. Somebody asked, again, I don't know who this is, says, does this looming 3% Fed cap call to action have any similarities to the past when the MLA issues came up and the division it caused? And so how do we avoid the division and learn from it? I don't know if Dave can hear me. I'll give you my opinion.
Sure I follow.
Yeah. So I think that at some point with the back in the day, there was a division between states, between people within associations. And the question is, how do we avoid that division and how do we learn from it? Right. And for me, I believe that it's time. Go ahead, Dave.
Everybody's got to be at the table. So the reason there's division is because we're not at the same table. And we're not at the same table because we're busy bickering and infighting and defending what we've done in the past or complaining about what was or wasn't done in the past. And none of that matters today. None of it. But what matters is we all learn from this and we move forward. I'll give you an example to me that struck home to me was when the businesses in Los Angeles County were being considered whether they were essential or not. The police departments were the ones basically making the calls. So if a certain division wanted to shut people down, they could. And then other pawn shops across town, they were open because it was just within that division. And that tells me we've got work to do at the street level, at the state level, at the county level, at the federal level. We've got lots of work to do, but we have to have a unified voice to do it.
Yeah.
And we're not going to have a unified voice if we're all sitting in state associations bickering and complaining, or if we're in states that don't even have an association and can't even complain to anybody. Yeah. We have to be one mind, all of us, one voice, moving forward.
Yeah, I think that the most important thing also is that it's time that we put down our egos, that we take our three balls off the table, thinking that we know so much, and we start listening to each other. And we, like you said, bring everybody to the table so that it's a more united front as opposed to such a divided front, right? I'm going to bring up some comments here. Dave, I'm going to mute your mic real quick just because it's making some noise, but I'll bring you back up. Josh Older says, politics is pretty straightforward. The elected official wants to keep their job. If our national lobbyist talks to our legislator, they really don't care. He can vote them out of office. You and our customers are the constituents, and you need to pressure the elected official. I love that. Yes, 100%. Mark Schechter says, are they going to cap the unsecured loans as well? Credit cards, the majority of consumer debt. Dave, what's your take on that?
I think they already are.
Yeah.
Because they fall under usury law.
Yeah. So Scott Nell, it is not just you. Dave is in his car. This was super last minute. He's on the road, so there are some audio issues. So our apologies for that. But we want to make sure that we get on here so that we bang the drum to let all of you know that if you are not active in your local government, if you're not active in your state association, if you're not active at the national level, if you don't have a state association, it is time to wake the F up and to stop hoping and praying that just others do the work for you, but that you put down your ego, and that we all come together and we unite. This is all about getting rid of the division, putting down our egos, and uniting as a family. You know, you can have fighting as a family. My family fights, right? But when shit hits the fan, we sit at the table and we get together and we love each other and we hug each other. And all we care about is the good of the family, not the good of my store, not the good of just me. It's the good of the collective family, right? And we always say pawn family, pawn family. And I think that the reason why I canceled a webinar this morning and we got Dave on the call was because it's time that we unite all as a front and put that down. And so one thing that for those of you who have associations, for those of you who don't have an association, I'm putting together a call next Tuesday. If you go to epicassociations.com, sign up if you are a leader in an association, or if you want to lead an association that doesn't exist in your state. And so on that call, we're just going to mastermind for an hour, hour and a half about what's working, what's not, how to start an association, how to gain more membership, how to use marketing, how to create more technology so that you can reach out to more people. So we're not just here just talking the talk. Like, I'm going to walk the walk. And so if you are an associate, an association board member, leader, president, if you want to start an association, just go to epicassociations.com. We put that in the chat. Jump on. It's a call that we're going to have, a Zoom call that we have next week, just to talk about what's working, what's not working, because the whole basis of this is to grow membership and to grow communication. It's not just about how many members you have. It's how many members are active and are communicating, and you're communicating to them, right? So somebody asked, what does coming together look like? What is the front? I have a 3% state, and a 30% state is not a unified front, in my opinion. In my opinion, the first front, right, is on the state level. Let's get together on your state level, right? Let's get to know your legislators. So when Durbin comes out and says, I want this legislation to go through, the other legislators are like, wait a second, man, I love my pawnbrokers. They're amazing. They give back to the community. I've met with them. They do so much good in their communities to my constituents. We need to like really talk about this. I'm not just going to sign on this because you're the whip and you're making me do this. And then, of course, on the national level, we've got to build the front, right? So there's many fronts that we need to build, but it starts locally. Do you know your local mayor, your local legislators? Do you know your state legislators? Are you active? And if you're not, it's time to get up and become active. Because this whole conversation about you're too busy, but when this comes down the line, all of us are going to scramble, make time to make that happen. And that's what we don't want, right? Perfect. Awesome. Let me see. Dave, can you hear us? Are you still there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome. Okay. Any last minute thoughts? I do. We've got some heavy hitters in the chat box who are already like talking to each other, which is amazing. And this is, I think, Dave, correct me if I'm wrong. This is what we wanted to do. We start the conversation. We don't know exactly what the solution is, but the conversation needed to be started. Right?
Absolutely. And you know what? I want people to think outside the box. Remember, what you think has been working, if it hasn't, it frustrates you because it's not working. Let's not keep doing the same thing. That's dumb. Let's not be dumb. We're smart pawnbrokers. Let's be smart. Let's do things outside the box, and let's think about regional pawnbroker associations instead of state associations. One of the strengths of the California Pawnbroker Associations is they have enough members they can afford an executive director. That's why they can get some things done other states can't, because they can't afford the executive director. If you can pile some people together that don't have associations now, make regional associations, stop trying to make it harder. Let's band together. Let's have groups come together and have meaningful conversations. And I think those smaller groups then can become a bigger group. And then the NPA's got to have time to formulate what their message is going to be and talks with those people. Because remember, the NPA represents you, all of you, and all of us. And so if you're not saying anything, if you're not part of it, forget the money. If you're not saying anything, they're going to do whatever they think is best. And they need input from you. And then you need to understand it, because we all need to buy into whatever it is. And I'm hoping you can hear me.
Yeah.
The other piece is, when you talk about a unified message, when you have 3 and 30%, right now we have no bartering position at all. We have no negotiating power whatsoever with our people, because we're at such a disparity. We have to come more together and say, look, we can all buy into this level, and we're willing to do that for the good of the industry, because if we don't, the industry may fall. Yeah. And we've got to have something to offer to these people, because if we don't, and the reason we're doing it now is because we have time. This isn't going to happen immediately, but we've got to set the stuff in motion, and we cannot be flat-footed. We can't find out about this stuff and then say, okay, now what do we do? Yeah. It'll be way too late. That's why we're ringing the bell now.
I had a conversation today with somebody who said that once it gets to the federal level, it's already too late. We've got to work before it gets there. And we have to do, we talked about this with, I talked about it with you yesterday. Like, if you want your business to be innovative, you got to think outside the box in leadership, marketing, and strategy. And it's the same thing on the state level when it comes to the associations. It's the same thing with getting membership. It's the same thing with, convincing people and your legislators. You've got to do things that are outside of the box, that make sense, that you wouldn't have thought of before. And that's what we're going to talk about at epicassociations.com. Join us. I think it's going to be a good time. Dave, I hope you'll join us as well. So if there's any other questions, I mean, it's not like we're not the gurus at this, right? But we're more of the people who are seeing it and saying, why is everybody staying quiet? Something needs to be done. And I want to give all of that to you, Dave, because you were the first person to beat the drum. So thank you for doing that and for waking the rest of us up, right? Which is important. So awesome.
We've got good people, and I get to talk to them when I'm at the different functions around the country, just like you do. We've got brains and we've got passion. We just need to see it now. We need to see it for one thing where we all pull together, and for all of our differences and our competitiveness, this is what brings us together. And we've got to take advantage of that. And it doesn't matter if we're vendors or not. This is our industry, and we've got to keep it going. And I think if we get enough pre-work done and proactive work, we might just find out that that's actually a lot easier than reactive work, which we've been conditioned to do.
Yeah, 100%. Bob McCullough asks, if we are actively involved in our association, are we welcome on the call? The answer is yes. Right? It's a call just to be able to mastermind with different associations and come up with ideas. And that's the goal, right? I want California to have 400 members. I want other states to double. I want membership to double everywhere so that the front is more united, bigger. The coffers have more money, and we can fight the fight, whatever fight that is, together at some point, wherever we are, right? Awesome. Very, very cool. So if there's nothing else, Dave, first of all, thank you so much. Dave is amazing. If you're not using his services, use his services. He helps you put together your MLA handbook and other handbooks and compliance with banks. And he's just incredibly. So Dave, reach out to him. And Dave, what's your number? I'm going to put it in the post here for people to reach out to.
503 970 7739.
7739. So 503-970-7739. Call Dave if you need. Dave, thank you so
Yes,
much,
sir.
brother. You keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to send the call. We're going to talk about a couple more things. And love you, brother. Appreciate you.
Love you, man. Thanks.
All right. So as you heard, Dave said something super important. He said, this isn't happening right now, but we don't want to wait. We don't want to wait so that we get into trouble in a year from now and we're banging the drum then and it's just too late. We want to start now. So jump into the conversation. Let's get active. I want to help with the marketing skills that I have to see how I can help out all of the associations out, whoever that is. And we can, just one idea, 10% better is better. I talk about this in my coaching all the time, where if you are a golfer and you hit your golf ball, a millimeter off, it's going to drive to the left, 10 yards. So we want to just shift a little bit, little by little, step by step, so that we can be a unified pawn industry, so that nothing like this happens to us. Listen, I've been in the industry for 20 years. And some of you longer. And I've seen things happen and scares happen. And I've walked the halls with California pawnbrokers, and I don't want that stress to come on you guys. So let's unite. Okay. Roberto Suarez says Texas is in. Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Cool. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Love you all. And please, keep banging the drum in your state. Don't let this go. You guys have email, and I'll show you guys how to do this on Tuesday. You guys have email lists. Email people. Do what you need to do so that your membership knows that you're there, and communicate to them. Let them know what the plan is. Be transparent, because that's what connection is. If you think about a marriage, if you think about a friendship, it starts with trust, transparency, and no judgment. And if we can all come to the table with that, all associations will grow, the NPA will grow, and the United Front will be larger and bigger and stronger than ever. If there are any questions, please let me know. I'm here for you guys as well. If you're watching this somewhere else, thank you for joining. And a lot of people joined the Pawn Leaders community today. Thank you for joining. If you don't know who I am or why I do this, my name is Yigal. I'm a third-generation pawnbroker, the founder of the Pawn Leaders, and I'm here to help the pawn industry make more, stress less, and live epic lives. Awesome. So if there's nothing else, thank you so much for taking the time today, for being on this call. I know that it was hard to hear Dave, but I think it's important to listen to the message. Thank you, everybody, for reaching out to me and just, to me and Dave, and saying thank you. And as Dave said, this is a conversation that we should have started years ago, but there's no better time to plant a seed than today, right? Love you all. We'll talk to you soon. Have an amazing weekend. And don't forget, if you're involved in your association, if you really care about wanting your association to grow, I'm here to help out as much as I can, however I can, to the extent that I can, at epicassociations.com. Take care.